Hi and welcome to Tec Bike Parts. Today we're going to be fitting one of our new exhaust systems on a Yamaha MT-07. Nice little bike these, 700 twin range. There's many guys, it goes under many different names in lots of different markets. But it's a nice little 700 twin, sweet little bike, and it's one of the first non-Triumphs that we're going to start making exhausts for, because we've been asked lots of times. This is the system that you get from it. It's all stainless, one piece front pipe assembly with no cat, so it's got a cat bypass, but it still takes the lambda sensor, and an all stainless with a media blasted finish silencer. It's a big bore straight through silencer with a removable baffle on the end there, so you can adjust the volume on it. So if it's a little bit too loud, you can pop the baffle in. Handy if you've got testing or whatever. So first of all, we need to get the system off. Now, a good tip if you're going to, this bike's about 7 years old now, is before you start doing anything, give everything a good soak with releasing oil, and particularly the cylinder head bolts up here. Now, I give everything a good squirt last night, and it should all come off straight away there now. The other thing is this system is quite heavy. It's all one piece. So just make sure when you loosen the final bolt off, you're ready to catch it, because it will come down with a thud. So let's get on and get taken off now. Okay, first of all, what you need to do, if your bike has a belly pan like this one had, you need to remove it. Not all models have, but this one had one on. There's just 4 bolts. This was an aftermarket one. So we've taken that off. Now, what you need to do is remove this side trim cover here, which just has a couple of Allen screws in it. Now, the reason we need to take this off is we have a connector behind here for the lambda sensor. And obviously, if you forget to do that, when you take the exhaust off, you'll pull the wire out. So we just need to remove that. And if you follow the wire up from the sensor here, it's one wire. That's the wire there. Just take it out the clips, and you can unplug it from the connector here. Okay, so we'll do that. We now need to take this footrest assembly off. All you need to do is take the 2 bolts out and let it hang. Just so we can get into the mounting bolt for the silencer underneath here. So the next thing we need to do is slacken the 4 head to front pipe mounting bolts off. I've already cracked these off, so it's just a matter of winding those out. So after you've loosened the front nuts off the cylinder head, we take the mounting bolt out the back here. So be ready to catch it, because it's quite heavy. Okay, so that's it all undone there now, and you just jiggle it out. It's quite heavy. And it's not the prettiest exhaust system I've ever seen, that. Pretty damned ugly, like most modern bikes now, when you get a good look at them. Anyway, right, so we're ready to start fitting the new one. So we need to take the lambda sensor out of the front pipe, so we just unscrew that. And make sure the little seal comes off with it as well. And that'll just screw straight into the new front pipe. taking care not to damage the lead. Just nip that up. Now on your exhaust seals, you can normally get away with using them again, but just pop them out and have a good look at them. I've already had them out of here and they look fine, so I'm just going to reuse them again. But it may be worth buying a pair of seals before you start doing the job if you think you may be damaging them if it's been on for a while. This exhaust's been off fairly recently by the looks of it, so it looks like it's got some new seals in, but we're just going to pop those back on. Right, so put the front pipe up into place now, and making sure that the seals don't become dislodged as you put them up. And if you slide one of your brackets up, it's a little bit fiddly this. Right, so we've nipped the front pipes up enough just to make sure they're seated. They're not fully tightened, but they're seated into the head. Now we want to get the silencer and fit the twisted bracket. Bolt goes through the bracket first, then it goes through a spacer, then through the mounting bracket on the silencer. And just nip that up for now, don't fully tighten it just yet. Now this just slips onto the front pipe here, and you pop your retaining springs on. If you want, you can just put one of these on for now while you're locating everything up. I'll put both of them on, I think. There you go. Right, this little bracket here, as you see, it matches up with the back of this hole for the footrest mounting. Now you get a new bolt with your footrest mounting, which is slightly longer than standard. So we just pop the footrest back on there now, make sure it's locating on its peg, and pop your bolt through. Wrong size honky. Now as that starts to protrude out the back, you need to hook the bracket on and pop the nut that's supplied in the kit onto the exposed threads at the back. It's a little bit of a fiddly job. Now we pop the other bolt in the other footrest. Now, so we tighten the footrest bolts up. Now we need to tighten the nut at the back with a 13mm spanner. Again, this is a little bit of a fiddle to get into, but we'll just nip that up. And once that's tightened, you tighten the nut onto the bracket on the silencer at the back. And what you need to do once it's all tightened is just make sure you've got a small amount of clearance between the swing arm here and the silencer. If you find it's a bit tight, you can actually bend the bracket very slightly in and out to get it where you want it. And then just tighten everything up. Tighten all these mountings up and tighten your cylinder head nuts up. The tightening torque for the cylinder heads is 16 pounds-foot. Be very careful not to over tighten them. So that's 16 pounds-foot on the cylinder head. You need to make sure your lambda sensor is routed out of the way so it doesn't actually touch the exhaust anywhere. So use the proper clips provided to keep that out of the way. And then you can pop this panel back on once everything's tight. Like so. I'll just tighten all that up and then we'll start it up and let you have a listen to it. Okay, so that's the full system fitted on there now. Like I say, we make sure we've got some clearance between the brake and here. It's quite tight, it's neatly fitted in there. Now if you notice, the exhaust has dirty finger marks all over it. The systems tend to be a bit oily from manufacturing, and obviously the dirt you pick up on your hands while you're putting it onto the bike. Now it's worth getting this cleaned off before it gets hot and baked on. So you can use a brake cleaner, any sort of soapy cleaner, or you can just use WD-40 and just give it a quick squirt and a wipe there. You can see it takes all the dirty hand marks off. And if you go over the whole system and do that and make sure it's all fully dried off first before you start it up, because you don't want any fires. Now if at a later date you want to clean this exhaust system, they do tend to go quite straw coloured, they actually get quite dark, and what's happening is all the contaminants out the air is getting burnt onto the surface, and it can actually look like rust, but it's not, it's all on the surface of the stainless. If you get a Scotch-Brite pad and some water and just give it a rub, gentle rub when you're washing the bike, it'll actually come up like brand new. Okay, so we're ready to give that a fire up now. As you can see, there's a little bit of smoke as you'd normally get with the new exhaust system. There's just the residue burning off. But I'm sure you agree that's a lot nicer sound than standard. And that still has the dB killer in there. You can make it louder again if you take the dB killer out, but it is very loud. And I'm sure you agree that it's much prettier than the scooter exhaust that the bike comes with. Looks more in place on a Vespa than a motorcycle, that. Okay, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can email me through the web shop as normal at www.tecbikeparts.com. Thanks for watching. Any questions, just send me a message. Thanks a lot now. Bye-bye.